Hey guys, welcome to another video. So in this video, I'm going to talk about this book named as Web Hacking 101. One of the famous book on internet, I guess suggested by most of the people or YouTuber also. So we are going to talk about what is the content of this book, and I'm going to share some of my tips in between. So please do watch the complete video to get all those knowledge. Also, I will say whichever wherever it is required for some additional point that you might need while reading this particular book, and you get more knowledge out of it. Now, this book was initially, I think, published at HackerOne website, because this contained more than 30 to 40 public report, not even, I think, yeah, more than 30 to 40 report, which are having some of the real issues or existing issues on different product, and their live proof of concept and other thing, which is reported by different security researcher, obviously. So this book will give you not only about the bug bounty, but also the different techniques that you can learn about bug bounty, web application security, and all those things. So let's get started. So book was written by Peter Yorosky. So I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this name pretty bad. So yeah, he has. I think he's one of the Shopify security engineer in LinkedIn. I guess I saw some time ago. So yeah, he was. I think one of the application security engineer who has written this particular book, or basically added all those stuff in a particular single book. Now if you scroll down further, he has mentioned all those guys, like your namesake and yeah, mystery buyer and all those things, right? So all the detail basically you can go through. I'll just skipping through all this theory part and directly go into content. So initially it has like just 30 examples and my first sale. Then it has like open URL direction vulnerability, then parameter pollution, CSRF attack, HTML injection, CRLF injection, cross-site scripting, template injection, SQLi, SSRF, XXC, remote code execution, memory attack, subdomain takeover, risk condition, IDOR, things like OAuth, and application logic vulnerability, or basically business logic vulnerabilities, and also getting started and vulnerability reporting, all those things. Finally, they have also mentioned different tools that is being used by different security researcher for finding out all this issue. So pretty nice content. In fact, in the end, you will have these resources also, like Cobalt.io, HackerOne, Bugcrowd, and all those different sites, right? So yeah, then there is glossary and appendix, all those things, right? So this book is really having great content. I guess it covers most of the issue those exist or that has been reported by different security researcher. Now, if you scroll down, let me go through slide bit fast. Now, if you go through, there is different chapter 2, which is about HTTP request response and all those things. Okay, we'll get it gradually once we go through the book content. So yeah, this is one of the pretty much basics thing where he has explained about what does that like request response look like, what does the HTML code look like, the response for 200 OK, how does the content look like, and different method, get, head, post, put, delete, trace, connect, options, and all those things. Now there are some other vulnerability which are related to the put method. Probably I will discuss in a separate video. Basically, you can upload a file and perform various attack, so that will be definitely helpful for you. Now moving further, the first one I see is the open redirect vulnerability. I have already made one of the like video on open redirect vulnerability, typical common parameter, and all those things. So this is where the issue is really simple actually. When a parameter is not been validated properly, it redirects for to an like malicious website rather than the genuine website, right? That is where this particular issue happened. So I guess they have shown one of the report with $500 somebody has got, and yeah, Shopify platform only, and they have provided all those detailed write-up. You can go through this report and typically understand it. Now they have provided slight more variations, like one of the URL parameter, if you could see here, checkout underscore URL, right, which was again vulnerable to this URL direction attack. So these are a lot of payloads. I mean, the payloads is typically simple. You can provide any external domain name to which the website will take you once you put that particular parameter and go to like redirect it to. So the only thing that matters is more of this parameter, I would say, for URL direction, like return to and all those things, right? So I have already made a video. You can go ahead and watch that particular video. So the fifth one is parameter pollution. Again, one of the really impactful issue. So over here, he is trying to explain with like transferring amount from one user to another user for some particular amount. So over here, you can see that from account to account is mentioned in this particular manner. But however, whenever you are going for parameter pollution, somebody will basically pollute the parameter value with maybe double time or maybe exchanging another thing, right? So that instead of like passing the value for one account, it will go to the other account. I guess there is one of the really nice example of this particular HTML parameter pollution issue is about the voting, when you can red and green. I guess if you have not read that, do comment in the comment box. I will put that URL. That guy has explained in really nice fashion. Even I have learned from there. So yeah, in parameter pollution, you can see a particular parameter will be repeated twice or maybe thrice, depending on which particular value the server basically picked up and process that particular value, right? So you will get some better idea with that. So you can basically go through this theory part majorly. Parameter pollution is really simple to, again, to understand, and also to try out. You can go through this public report and you will have some better idea. Now moving further, one of the pretty common issue, that is your CSRF or cross-site request forgery. Typically, most of the people give the example of like money transaction. You are logging into a bank account, and as soon as somebody sent you in Facebook or some social media to, hey, open here one of the nice image for a particular trip that we have been to, and as soon as you open that image or open that URL, your money get deducted. This is the kind of example most of the people gives. Now over here he is trying to explain, like, again, I guess the same thing. Bob log into a bank account and all those things, right? So this is one of the really cool issue. Now this happened typically because of the cookie value that is automatically passed by your browser. I guess he has explained slight bit about the course thing also. So make sure you read that, get clarified about this course thing. One of the very famous asked on interview question. Most of the people test their basics if by asking this course question. So do read the course thing properly. So over here he has again explained one of the Shopify export installed user kind of example, which is one of the typically your CSRF attack, where something will get exported to other thing. Even the same thing is Shopify Twitter disconnect thing, right? You send a URL, somebody click on that, his account got disconnected or things like that. So go ahead and read all this issue. I think Badu full account takeover also that exists. Oh, well, that's nice. Over here, it would be typically some of the account creation by some URL or other thing, which yeah, I can see here. So somebody will give the URL and your account will be created or something like that, and somebody can take over the account, right? So this is again one of the CSRF example. Moving further, HTML injection. So HTML injection is more of your by injecting some of the HTML parameter, things like marquee or even normal code or paragraph or something. If somebody can embed an HTML element to a particular response, then by providing the user input, obviously it will called as your HTML injection. So again, he has provided on the URL encoded value for this test and sending it via some URL parameter, and yeah, you can see that particular value is coming up over here, right? This is the particular payload. So yeah, HTML injection is also one of the common issue that you must know, because while testing for HTML injection, I would always say leverage or try leverage the HTML injection into an XSS or other thing. If you have found some, like some of the script tag or some of the like less than greater than tags are enabled, go ahead and try for XSS. I'm sure you can do that. Now going further, yes, I think the same web content spoofing. So content spoofing will happen when you cannot run basically the HTML tag, rather than you can write whatever text. Like let's say most of the site has this error page where this says, okay, 404 you are not allowed to view or something. But instead of you are not allowed to view something, you can say 404. Please go to this particular website. I have something really interesting thing for you. So that way somebody will get redirected to that domain. So that will become your content spoofing if you are not able to run some HTML code or even your XSS script. I guess the next one must be XSS. I guess okay, CRLF injection. So carriage return line feed is one of the again common attacks which typically happen by your two character percentage zero a and percentage zero d basically. So if those are not been filtered properly, then yeah, you will have that same thing response shown in the response if you are passing through an request, right? So most of the people again give the example like, okay, ABC some XYZ domain name slash get home dot txt or something, or home dot html, and then you provide percentage zero a zero d and test you write, and same thing get splitted response in the response part of the same request, so that you will get idea. Been trying to say whatever I know, so you can go through the report to basically understand better. Yeah, moving further, over here you can see that. someone is using this percentage 98 and percentage 8a, right? So it might differ some of the cases, but most of the time percentage 0a 0d are the character mostly used. Okay, so yeah, Shopify response splitting. Yeah, you could see here the same response is coming over here, right? Now going further, the cross-site scripting. Yeah, cross-site scripting again. I am sure everybody or most of the people knows about it. If you don't know, again read this video. I mean, read this book. Even you can go through the previously created video by me. I have already made a video on this XSS attack for beginners. So go through that. You will get a better idea. So I will skip through because this is pretty common, or most of the people know it. Okay, currency formatting. Wherever you find some input field, go ahead and try this XSS payload. Sometime it works. Yeah, only the masters or the expert guy or whoever wanna spend some time, they will try figuring out some XSS bypasses to not to like bypass some of the filter and other thing, right? But usually people just go ahead and play some dummy polygon, whatever copied XSS payload they have. Okay, going further, I'll just make it fast. Template injection. I have already made a video on this template injection where you will typically find like a payload with double curly braces, 7 cross 7, 10 cross 10. Yeah, I can here also he has provided the same example. Typically your template is been processed and you will get an response. I have already made a video on this, so I will just go ahead slide bit faster. Yeah, SQL injection also, I guess I have already made a video on blind SQL injection, but yeah, the only difference between blind and error based, in error based you will get some error message, where in blind you won't get the error message. Rather than you have to proceed with the true false condition. So I made a video. Typically similar. If you want me to make a video, again I can make a normal SQL injection bug. Going further, yeah, Yahoo SQL injection. Those days Yahoo were pretty popular to have this particular vulnerability back in 2013-14. Going further, yeah, SSRF, I have already made a video again in my live event where somebody asked this question. I did explain this particular issue. So, yeah, SSRF, I have made a video, I guess, on it. So, go ahead and watch it. If not, you can read this book also. That is good. Going further, XXE, yes, it is one of the pretty common issues, or I would say one of the critical impact issue or high severity issues that you will find on internet. Make sure you read this XXE issue properly. Again, this is one of the interview question most of the people typically ask. What is XXE and why does it happen? Parser and all those things you can say, right? How do you exploit for XXE, inbound, outbound, all those things typically ask. I guess that thing is not mentioned over here properly, like what all thing that you can do with XXE or inbound, outbound. So go ahead and read it from some external sources, or maybe some Google about it, and you can find out better explanation. You'll find this like file reading, etc password file, all those things that you can do or exploit in this particular issue. It's basically entity reference and all those things. So go ahead and Google it. I will try make a video on this XXE attack pretty soon. I guess some guy has commented also. I'll make a video on that XXE attack. Okay, so let's go further. Yeah, this issue got really famous when somebody reported like read access to google.com. Somebody could able to read some of the internal server file from Google. So this was another pretty famous issue. I still remember. Okay, moving further, Facebook XXE with Word file. Yeah, this is also another famous write-up. So you can read it. Really nice one. I took like, literally 1 or 2 days to understand this issue actually when I was reading this issue. Now Wikiloc XXE, that also you can read, pretty much same based. Now remote command execution or remote code execution, I have made a video on that. Make sure you go ahead and watch it. Really nice one. I have explained all those things right with respect to your remote code execution or remote command execution. Going further, yeah, memory related issue. I have already made a video on buffer overflow. How does the memory look like? How does the overflow happen and all those things, right? So this is typically same thing. But over here, he has explained about the heartbleed issue. It about one of the like memory's length was validating, wherein the content was not validating. Kind of that issue I can remember. Again, heartbleed is one of the interview questions. If you are preparing for some interview, make sure you read about the SSL handshake, heart bleeding issues. These are pretty common interview questions, so make sure you read them. Even if you are a beginner, definitely interview will test you with these things like SSL and even heartbeat. Some people will go up to poodle and other thing. Yeah, so make sure you read about this thing. Okay, yeah, memory related issue, read out of bound issue, yeah, Python hotspot module. These are some of the memory copy or string copy related issues. So when it the memory get overlapped or it crossed the boundary kind of attack, right? So I'm not sure this is more of beginner attack, but you need to know the theory thing. People doesn't usually ask memory leak issues for a beginner, so don't worry. Just but have some idea about why does this memory corruption happen, why does this memory overflow happen, str copy, str memory. These are some of the function. Those are the criminal method. Now moving further, subdomain takeover, Franz Rosen, I remember his name whenever I read about this subdomain takeover. This is pretty much one of the very common issue that Franz Rosen has reported in back 2016 or 17. So make sure you read that. How does he enumerated Amazon S3 bucket and all those things. So I'll make a video on subdomain takeover separately. So no need to discuss further. But yeah, if you want to read, you can read this completely, understand it better, and get some more knowledge, right? So Zendesk takeover, Twitter, I guess, had this subdomain takeover. I'm sure, not sure whether he has mentioned or not. Anyway, so let's further go. Okay, let's go further faster. Now, race condition is one of the, I would not say technical, but it's more of logical bug where one user, let's say, an example, you wanted to make a transaction, you initiated the transaction, but you didn't get any response. But the same time, you and move to another web browser or maybe your PC and tried placing the order or something like that, and your transaction is again successful. But since you completed the transaction two times, you, let's say the amount was 500, then 1000 rupees got deducted. That is where this race condition happen. I guess the similar explanation is also mentioned over here, so make sure you read it. It is more of medium level, but yeah, still it is one of the common or logical kind of bug that you will find in some of the application. I'm really happy to see he has provided some of the nice explanation. I think this one was pretty famous also. HackerOne invite multiple times. I think some private bounty that in HackerOne user can invite another thing. So HackerOne has typically more of issue related to their API. I don't know whether he has covered or not, like API leakage and other thing, right? So let's go further. IDOR is one of the pretty common issues. Yeah, you can say it's more of like very easy to detect also. So what happened basically is, let's say one particular user ID value or some ID value is associated with the user. Now you change the ID value with some other valid user ID, and you could see the details of the other user. Right, that's the simple explanation I would say. So I will make a separate video on this IDOR with auto-rise, burp suite extension or auto repeater also, how to detect and all those things. Probably that time you will get some better idea, because people always like the automation things rather than you. Manually detection, not usual. So manually detection. Now going further, OAuth related vulnerability. This is one of the very important to know. Philip Harewood, one of the guy, he has listed a lot of issue in Facebook and some other website also, right? So make sure you watch. I mean, not Facebook, but yeah, I think it was Facebook only where he found all those issues. So make sure you pay attention this OAuth. Again, one of the interview question most of the time people will ask related to this OAuth or OpenID authentication implementation, where all you can have some bug and other thing. So make sure you have this concept ready and you understand this particular thing really better way. Yes, Stack, OAuth, yes, stealing Google Drive spreadsheet. This one of the famous issue I could remember. Now going further, application logic vulnerability. It's more of the business logic issues. Those are associated with the application. So let's say like if you are like you are doing not playing around with some payload, other than you are manipulating some of the string to bypass some of the security control issues. So that is where this business logic issue will come up. Like one of them is HackerOne signal manipulation or signal boosting. I guess that was the title. So you can read this issue. A really nice one. Shopify, HackerOne S3 buckets open and all those things, business logic issues. I guess if I scroll further, let's see what all thing is there. I guess this is pretty much it about the main content about this book. Rest of the part is some of more of the theory thing, application testing and even, but it is also important deeper in order to find out different bugs and other thing that is been provided as a guideline or some of the motivational thing. So respect to your organization, how do you, what are the different styles. So basically if you go through the report, you will get an idea how does a security report look like or security issue reported by external researcher look like, right? So you will have some more idea like how to report an issue and how to get a maximum bounty and other thing. So I guess this is pretty much it. He has mentioned some of the tools section where he has explained tools like Bob Suite, JAP, NockY, Sublister, Cert SS for subdomain enumeration, Access Center, SQL Map. So I'll make a separate video on the tool, let's say. So this video is going to be pretty stretched if I talk about the tool. So I will talk about them sometime later. So he has also mentioned some of the YouTube channel, Cobalt, some of the Bugcrowd platform, Bugwanti platform, or even some of the Twitter handle, URL which you can follow and all those things. So really nicely done book. I'm sure if you are beginner, you will find this lot of informative inside this book and you will definitely enjoy it. Vulnerability coordination, what is vulnerability, white hat, vulnerability disclose, and all those things. So this is pretty much it about this book. I'm sure you will like it or you love it. I hope you guys get some idea about from this particular video, even if you like have felt slight bit boring in between, but I'm sure you would have enjoyed. So hit like, do share this particular video with your friends and family so that they get aware. And see next time. See you soon. Bye bye.